What's the best goalie build? The most frequently asked question I get, along with what's the best stance. In this two-part video, we'll cover what the attributes actually do, and in the second part, we'll cover actually making a build for yourself. If you watched the last videos, you'll know that there is no best stance. There are slight differences in situations where your goalie gets no save animation, but it's impossible to say that one stance is better than the other. For those who only watch the first minute of my videos, here's what we've discovered through testing so far. There is no best build, attributes have very little effect game to game, and the only important consideration is height. Get used to seeing this pie chart in my videos. People are focused on all of the wrong things like builds and stances when 99% of being good at the goalie in this game is positioning, play reads, and confidence. The other 1% is a comfortable stance and build that makes you confident in your positioning and in your attributes. I just want to give a quick shout out and a thanks to JT13 and Ziggy for helping test these attributes. Check out this sweet save by JT13. People thought this animation was removed, however, it's still in game right there for you to see. All right, an important thing to know is there's a tuning option called attribute effect. In ESHL, attribute effect is tuned to be very low for human goalies. This means the difference between 85 and 90 in any given attribute will be minuscule and only noticeable over the course of many shots. Think hundreds of the exact same type of shots. Why is that? Goalie is extremely difficult to code and tune as we're always reacting to chances that are the result of many other variables. Think screens, bouncing pucks, players aiming in different types of spots, getting different types of power on their shots, all right? When we send in clips to the devs to review, it's easier for them to determine if something is broken or not because then they don't have to figure out if our attributes are causing us to miss pucks. So the first thing you have the option to do is pick a goalie class, butterfly, stand-up, or hybrid. These are labels for a base set of attributes. The labels do not impact save animations or anything in-game outside of the base attributes. From NHL 09 to 15, they changed animations, but in NHL 16 that was removed. This has been confirmed by the developers as well as tests done in our BTP Discord, so don't go crazy thinking butterfly gives you better animations when there is no difference. Now let's talk about height. The taller you are, the more net you take up. Every single top goalie in this game at the esports level plays at 6'3" to 6'5", and I'd say most of them use 6'5" this year. Why? Because there are a lot of situations you face in high-level games where your goalie gets no save animation or it's very late. When your goalie doesn't react, you rely on your player model positioning to save the shot, and the taller you are, the more of you there is to save those types of play. Now it's up for debate whether or not shorter goalies get less of those no animation situations, but even if they did, you can guarantee that the top goalies would have figured it out already and would be playing shorter. My advice for you is to play at 6'5" or no shorter than 6'3" unless you just want to have some fun and play at a smaller height. Okay, talking about weight now. This does not make your player model any bigger or smaller. It merely adjusts your speed, agility, and rebound control attributes. Pick a weight that gets these attributes to a point where you want them, but we're going to go more into detail about that in a second. So let's start with speed. Speed affects your top speed in the crease, which you reach after about 1.5 strides in precision movement. It also affects your free skate speed. It's probably the only attribute with a noticeable difference in game, but more speed does not necessarily mean better. Think of it like an aim sensitivity setting in an FPS game. Some people like lower speeds to be in more control of their goalie and have more precise movement, where the other people like to have that top speed option. I personally keep mine between 88 and 90. I've seen elite goalies run butterfly builds with low speed and low agility and do just fine. So it's really up to you and how well you can control yourself at what speed. Okay, agility. This is a highly debated attribute this year, and we've never really received a great explanation in the past of what it does. But this year I asked the developers and they were able to confirm this. Agility determines the max acceleration and agility of the goalie as they move around the crease. So changing directions would be faster the higher this is. Decelerating after moving, so coming to a stop, is quicker. And being able to push off again quickly once you've made a stop that speed is also increased. It's pretty difficult to separate the stat away from your speed stat in game, but I've seen goalies do just fine with low or high agility builds. Moving on to vision, this impacts your goalie's ability to see and react to pucks through screens and also react better to deflections. An NHL 21 screen effect is now in play. In the past, it wasn't. It uses your goalie's line of sight with the puck to determine if you're screened or not. You can be partially screened or you can be fully screened depending on how much of your line of sight is blocked off. The number of people doesn't matter, just how much of your vision is skewed. So we tested vision, and for static shots on screen chances, there's next to no difference between 97 and 87. The attribute effect is so low that over the course of 25 to 50 shots, we didn't notice a single difference at all between any vision attribute. Now you may see the difference over the course of hundreds of shots, but we're just not going to sit there and test that right now. Moving on to our reflexes. Glove and stick high impact your reaction time and reach on saves where you use your trapper or glove. It doesn't matter if the shot is high or low. If you're using your blocker or your trapper to save the puck, glove and stick high stats are considered, and this has been confirmed by the EA devs. Glove and stick low impact your reaction time and reach on saves using your legs. There is no noticeable difference between 95 and 85 game to game. I've ran builds with lower up-high stats and saved just as many snipes as with builds with high stats, and I've also been sniped using both. You may notice a difference over the course of hundreds to thousands of the exact same shots, but the impact is so low, I don't think these reflexes actually matter that much. 5-hole impacts your reaction time and speed of auto butterfly animations. It does not noticeably impact manual butterfly speed. We've tested 72 5-hole and 95 hole, and the difference is not noticeable whatsoever. Most 5-hole goals that go in are a result of your goalie not getting a save animation at all, and that requires you to manually butterfly regardless of what the attribute is. I typically run a low 5-hole every year. Breakaway is a modifier for attributes in game identified breakaways and penalty shots. This means it only comes into play on chances that would count as a breakaway in the game's final stats. On old gen, this would make your goalie harder to control on breakaways. However, this is no longer the case. And through testing, we found no significant impact of this attribute, and I would honestly forget about it. Under puck control, we have shot recovery and rebound control. Shot recovery decreases the delay your goalie gets between save animations. So in theory, the higher your shot recovery is, the quicker you can make a second or even third save. However, through testing, the difference is not very noticeable whether this is high or low. Rebound control increases the chance of your goalie killing a rebound on a shot. This attribute is still at the mercy of shot location, shot speed, and screen effect. And through testing, there is not a noticeable difference between low or high rebound control. On a well-placed shot by a good player, you're going to kick out a rebound right to their teammate's stick regardless. So personally, I prefer the freedom to move quicker for a second save than I do relying on a dice roll to control that rebound for me, but it's up to you. Okay, you'll notice I've skipped some attributes here. Passing, poke check, and endurance. These do not impact anything that involves saving pucks, so they're not important. Endurance has no effect on human goalies. Even when you get hit and your stamina bar drops, there's no impact to your save animations. It's a visual bug. Passing impacts your pass speed using R2 or right trigger. Poke check impacts the speed of a manual poke check, which is up on the right stick. It does not impact the diving poke check desperation save. Even with a low poke check rating, I still poke pucks away, but the times you actually use this is so rare, I don't suggest you worry about this at all. Okay, this is the end of part 1. In part 2, I'll show you how to make a build that's best suited for you and your team. However, realize since that attributes have such a low effect, The only important consideration is going to be your height, speed sensitivity, and your specialty. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for part 2.